Hey guys, how you doing today? Today I was on the Brush and Soap and Blade podcast, which is a wet shaving podcast, and as a result of that, I've gotten a few private messages from new wet shavers who ask if I would do a quick video on some tips for newer wet shavers, and of course I'm happy to do that. The first tip I'm going to give you is the same one that I mentioned on the Brush and Soap and Blade podcast, and that concerns gear. If you acquire gear and you think you don't like it at first, you've used it a few times and you just don't think it's right for you, put that gear aside for 3-4 weeks, maybe a month or so, and then come back to it later. When you come back to it, give that gear a really thorough evaluation, 10, 15, maybe 20 uses. If at the end of that time you still don't like the gear, it's probably safe to get rid of it. Take it from me, someone who has bought the same item twice. You don't want to get rid of something on a whim, only to decide later that you like it and want it. I have done that. Don't repeat the mistake that I've made. Give your gear a very thorough evaluation. Use it quite a bit before you decide whether it's right for you. And believe it or not, that can apply to brushes, razors, soap scents even. I hated tobacco when I first started using it, and then after a while, I grew to love it. So don't take a whiff of a soap and go, I don't like it. Give it a shot. If you don't like it, come back to it, give it a thorough evaluation, and then, again, if at the end of that time you still don't like it, it's probably safe to get rid of. Now, the second tip that I would offer you is about the actual shaving process and listening to your face, or at least that's what I call it. Listen to the signs that your face will give you. If you feel burning, any sort of unpleasant sensation, your face is telling you something, and it's best that you listen. If you push on through that, like many people do, I've done it myself. It's just a little stinging. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of this shave out of the way. You will pay the price. That's your face telling you, you're mistreating me. I've had enough. Stop what you're doing. The same can be said of if you're just applying a soap and it burns your face, stop putting that soap on your face. Wash it off. Listen to what your face is telling you. It will communicate with you, and if you listen, you'll be much better served than when you ignore it. Most of us have ignored it at one time or another. Then we end up with irritation, this and that, and a very unpleasant experience. So listen to your face. And the third and final tip that I'm going to give today is about razors. Now, this razor I'm holding is an Edwin Jagger Chatsworth Barley. Now, this is a little different from the regular Edwin Jagger, only in the handle. The head is exactly the same. Now, many people refer to this as a beginner's razor, and a beginner's razor. It is not a beginner's razor. This is a razor that is good for a shaver at any level, whether they've been shaving for 10 years, 10 days, or 1 day. The reason that it's called a beginner's razor is because it's fairly affordable, about $30, $40, and it's not terribly aggressive. But that doesn't make it a beginner's razor. So if you buy an Edwin Jagger and you're a new wet shaver and you're using it and you're really enjoying your shaves, but people are calling it a beginner's razor and that sort of rubs you the wrong way, ignore it. This is a fine razor for a shaver at any level. It just so happens that it's a very, very popular for razors for new wet shavers to use. It doesn't make it a beginner's razor, though. So don't think you're on training wheels when you're using an Edwin Jagger, because you're not. You can cut yourself with an Edwin Jagger just like you can with any other razor, and it is not a beginner's razor, although it is popular with beginners. So please don't buy into the bravado about, oh, you're still using an EJ, you're just a beginner. No. If you're enjoying your shaves with the EJ, stay with the EJ. Now, if you want to buy another razor down the road, that's perfectly fine. But don't feel compelled to run out and buy Muley R41, which is a very aggressive razor, just because somebody said that an Edwin Jagger is a beginner's razor. That's a bunch of hogwash. It's nonsense. And you just need to listen to your face. If this baby is working great for you, continue to use it. So, there's our tips for the day. I hope you find that somewhat helpful. I'll probably do a few more of these if there's demand, and hope you get something out of it. And as always, have a great day and have a great shave.